The coronavirus is spreading inside the jail because of the conditions.
Your prison sentence should not be a death sentence.
I mean, I don't want to die like this.
Marion Correctional Institution in Ohio, where 80% of the inmates, that's more than 2,000 prisoners, and over 150 staff have contracted COVID-19. It makes this prison one of the hottest virus spots in America. And yes, they're hardened criminals, but they're also scared for their lives.
Here, Candace, we cannot get away from each other. Look in the background. You see all of this? This is crazy. We just waiting to die in here. We just sitting ducks in here waiting to die. We cannot get away from each other at all.
James Ellis is one of those infected.
I'm terrified.
He's been locked up for 25 years, but says nothing compares to this.
I feel extremely desperate. I'm willing to do anything to save my life. I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. You know, and I don't want to think that I'll never see my family again.
James talks of poor hygiene, no soap, inmates making masks out of old T-shirts, and meal times cut to just 2 a day to reduce the spread of the disease. So far, 2 prisoners have died here, but with limited social distancing, he believes it's inevitable the numbers will rise. How scared are the inmates?
My guys up here are scared to death, you know, and then we watching ambulance come back and forth, coming through the gate and rushing people up out of here, you know, and guys were just looking at each other. I mean, it was just like a dead silence in the room, and everybody was just like, oh my God, it's for real.
The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction told us the prisoners at Marion Institution were provided with a surgical mask and a reusable cloth mask. The amount of disinfectant has been increased. There is not a shortage of cleaner in the facility. Inmates have access to soap and hand sanitizer as well. But across Ohio, nearly 4,000 inmates have contracted COVID-19. Though the governor balks at talk of mass release to reduce the spread.
They are there in prison for a reason, and so when you talk about overriding that is a serious thing.
But that doesn't stop inmates begging. Like these signs, help, stuck on windows at Cook County Jail in Chicago, where nearly 300 have tested positive and staff are panicking.
Now you're putting us at risk, and then we have to go home to our families, putting them
Welcome back to another episode of 100% Juice Podcast, and I'm your host, H-Rap Bay. Peace. People, I need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe in order for us to raise up and get to the top ranks in YouTube, and so more people can see this content. We need y'all to like, we need y'all to share it to your Facebooks, to your Instagram pages, to your Twitter, wherever. We need you to share this content and tell people about what's going on over here. And we need y'all to like, because the like helps the algorithm get us to the top. But anyway, I want to get into that clip that I played before the show. Today, we talking about COVID-19 in U.S. prisons. And it is affecting everybody that you know that's in a penitentiary right now or locked in a county jail. We all know people that's been locked in a county jail going in and out. And as that gentleman saying that he's in a pod with like 100 people in there. So how can they possibly social distance when they're all cramped in one space? And that's going on in all jails around America. The prisoners just cramped in cells or cramped in a dorm. And there's no way to social distance. You're hearing reports that, you know, people just laying dead on the floor. People, you know, got stomach aches, just laying on the floor, and you just watching them die. You hear reports of this out in California. So how is the United States going to handle this matter? Are they doing anything about it? Certain people are getting released. I'm hearing reports about that some prisons are getting vaccinations, but I'm also hearing about reports that people are dying from vaccinations in U.S. prisons. Edwin Segarro recently passed away, may he rest in peace, from receiving a vaccination in a Bronx jail in New York City. He received it one week, his first shot. He told his family he's feeling well and everything. And then he sent another text or another call stating that he wasn't feeling well. And then next thing you know, he passed away. So this is happening all around the United States. You got 480,000 cases, confirmed cases in the United States, 2,100 deaths in the United States, in the prisons. 100,000 correctional officers confirmed with COVID. 170 are dead from COVID. That's a lot of people dying. And when a correctional officer got to go into work for 8 to 16 hours a day, then he's coming back home, he's going to the local store, he's going to the gas station, he's going to his daycare, wife job, vice versa. And he just came from a jail where 1 in 5 people have COVID-19. I want to get into this article from New York Times. I'm gonna get into this article from New York Times. It says states shutting down prisons as guards are crippled by COVID-19. And the article goes like this, people. Battered by a wave of coronavirus infections and deaths, local jails and state prison systems around the states have resorted to a drastic strategy to keep the virus at bay, shutting down completely and transferring their inmates elsewhere. From California, Missouri, Pennsylvania, state and local officials say that so many guards have fallen ill with the virus and are unable to work that abruptly closing some correctional facilities is the only way to maintain community security and prisoner safety. Experts say fallout is easy to predict. The jails and prisons they stay open will probably become even more crowded, unsanitary and disease-ridden, and the transfers are likely to help the virus proliferate both inside and outside the walls. You heard what he said, people? Experts say the fallout is easy to predict. The jails and prisons that stay open will probably become even more crowded, unsanitary, and disease-ridden, and the transfers are likely to help the virus proliferate both inside and outside the walls. So there you have it. So the more the frontline workers of prisons go in and out the jail, it's helping the virus spread. So the main hotspot of this virus in America right now are the U.S. jails. Isn't that kind of funny? That's where all the pain and strife is in America and in jail. Slavery. That's crazy. So now we have 1 in 5 people that are infected with the virus and in jail right now, penitentiaries, wherever, right? And then you have the guards, the nurses, the people that deliver the food and different things to jails. They're coming in and out, coming in contact with people, different things and touching different things, right? And you got the people who still think the virus is a conspiracy. The workers who don't care. Let's talk about them. I mean, they go into the jails, they don't want to get their temperature taken. They don't want to put a mask on. They're going in the jail. They're operating like that. And they're coming back out, spreading it to other people, unknowingly. Do they care? No. They're just working with a bunch of prisoners. They don't care if the prisoners get sick. They're not going to take them to the infirmary. They're going to just let them sit on that cell floor and just die. Let's talk about those workers those correction officers don't care. Are they going to shut the jails down in the United States? No, they're not going to shut the jails down in the United States. Know why? Because jails provide a lot of income for a lot of towns. provide a lot of income for a lot of towns. So if the jail shut down, then you have massive unemployment in different towns. That's more unemployment on top of more unemployment. So they're not going to shut the jails down. They're going to let it keep festering. And like I said, even if they start giving the prisoners first dibs on the vaccine, they're not checking these prisoners for prior health issues or don't even care. They're just shooting them up. And if they die, they die. And some prisoners are not even going to get the vaccine. So we have a big issue here on top of the issue outside the walls, as the gentleman said in the article. These are the things they're not talking about in the media. How the virus is being spread from the jails and being brought back on the streets. This is why they try to say that black people being more susceptible to this disease, this virus. Because it's more black people in jail. So it's more black people spreading it, so-called because we're the most jailed people in the United States. I want to get into this video about this jail in St. Louis. Check it out.
Justice Center in St. Louis. News 4 just confirming that St. Louis Mayor and Public Safety Director are at the City Justice Center, or the City Jail as some might call it, in downtown St. Louis, where some inmates have been seen setting small fires and throwing debris out of windows there. News 4's Julia Avery joins us live from the scene outside the Justice Center. Julia, this is right across from City Hall there on Tucker. What are you seeing right now?
Paige, it's a very tense scene out here in downtown, but it's also a surreal sight to see. I'll step out of the way. You can see the inmates. They have broken the windows. They're throwing burning debris out the windows, furniture, and people are starting to walk up, some bringing their kids, obviously bringing their cameras, getting all of this on footage, cheering them on as furniture comes out of the windows. And this started at 6 a.m. So for 2 hours now, those inmates have been up there chanting while the people below are chanting as well. The Justice Center, as you said, is downtown right across from City Hall. And we have confirmed that Mayor Lyda Krewson and the City Public Safety Director, Jimmy Edwards, are inside trying to negotiate with these prisoners. Now, this is at least the third disturbance at the Justice Center since December. Right now, there are no reports of any injuries, but there are several police cars on scene, fire trucks, and as I said, burning debris is coming from these windows. The inmates are throwing out of the windows and chanting, and it's just as I said, surreal sight to see as the people below cheer them on. But as I said, no injuries reported right now. We are obviously going to stay on scene and do live updates on social as well as our News 4 app, so keep an eye on that. Paige?
The reason they're basically saying that the prisoners are just angry, they just want to be violent. But what the prisoners are rioting about is they're not getting the proper PPE. The prisoners not getting masks. Did you see any masks in that video? They were wearing sheets over their face, T-shirts over their face. Conditions are bad in United States jails. Yeah, we know these people committed crimes and everything, but you're housing them and you're making money from them. Pretty soon, the jail bars won't be able to lock anymore. What are they going to do about that when they can't hold the prisoners anymore? You already saw it. Those prisoners could have escaped, but they didn't. That was just a warning. But the big riot is coming. And this one, it ain't gonna be able to stop. What are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? Tune in for another episode of 100% Juice Podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. And now I'm your host, A-Trap Bay. Peace, y'all.
They don't wanna listen, we gon' make them listen.